Let's talk about The Shawshank Redemption. It's one of those movies that pretty much everyone agrees is a masterpiece. But today, we're not just going to walk through the plot. We're going to dig a little deeper into the real philosophical stuff that makes the story about hope and freedom feel so incredibly powerful even all these years later.
I mean, think about that for a second. It's a total paradox, right? The whole story takes place in one of the most miserable places you can imagine, a maximum security prison. And yet, it's famous for being one of the most inspirational movies ever made. So how on earth does a story about being locked in a cage become the ultimate story about being free? Well, that's exactly what we're going to explore.
So right off the bat, let's get one thing straight. This is not just a prison break movie, not at all. It's really a profound look at what humans are capable of enduring. The prison is almost like a stage where the film gets to ask these huge questions about life, about the human spirit, and about what freedom really means. And that right there is the heart of it all. The movie's big idea is that true freedom, well, it isn't just about not being behind bars. It's something inside you, a freedom of your mind and your spirit that no wall, no prison, no person can ever truly take away. And that idea is the foundation for everything else that happens.
Okay, so this sets up the central conflict of the whole story. And it's not as simple as, the inmates versus the guards. Nah, it's much bigger than that. It's a battle between two massive, invisible forces, the soul-crushing weight of the system and the incredible resilience of the individual human spirit. And the way this is framed is just brilliant. Shawshank Prison itself basically becomes a character. It's this metaphor for any oppressive system out there that's designed to grind you down, to make you feel like less than human. And on the other side, you've got Andy Dufresne. His weapons aren't what you'd expect. He fights back with patience, with dignity, and with this fierce, unbreakable sense of his own inner freedom.
Andy is such a fascinating hero because he's not aggressive. He doesn't throw punches. His real strength comes from this quiet inner core, this absolute refusal to let the world make him bitter or break his spirit. Just by enduring, by staying silent and refusing to crumble, he's staging the ultimate act of defiance.
But of course, Andy doesn't have to fight this battle completely alone. In a place that's literally designed to make people feel isolated and hopeless, the movie shows us how human connection becomes a lifeline. It's not just nice to have, it's a fundamental part of survival. And this is where his friendship with Rad becomes absolutely essential. And this is just so clever, because look at how Andy fights back. He's not using knives or guns. His weapons are weapons of the spirit. That little rock hammer is a symbol of slow, methodical, patient work. The library he builds, that's creating a space for the mind to escape. His knowledge of finance gives him leverage and a sense of purpose. And then there's the music.
Oh, that scene. It's just so perfect because for a few beautiful minutes, everyone gets to feel what Andy feels. When he plays that Mozart record over the prison speakers, he's sharing his inner freedom with everyone. It's this incredible moment of collective escape, reminding us that beauty and art can break through any barrier. All right, now we get to the absolute soul of the movie, hope. Red famously says, hope is a dangerous thing. Hope can drive a man insane. And the film doesn't just dismiss that, it takes it seriously. It shows us that for some people, hope really can be a poison. But for others, it's the only thing that makes it possible to keep going. And to really get why hope could be seen as dangerous, you have to understand this one key idea, institutionalization. See, the system doesn't just lock you up physically, it makes you depend on the cage. You forget how to live without it. The heartbreaking story of Brooks, the old prison librarian, shows you the tragic end result. A man so broken that freedom becomes more terrifying than prison itself. And this all boils down to what might be one of the most famous movie lines of all time, Andy's message to Red. It's the ultimate choice, isn't it? You can give in to despair, let the system win, and basically get busy dying. Or you can choose to hold on to something, to find a reason to get busy living, no matter where you are. So that choice, that's what fuels the whole climax. Andy's escape is so much more than a clever prison break. It is the physical proof of his 19-year-long commitment to hope. It is the absolute final victory of his spirit over the system that tried for so long to crush it. I mean, just think about it, a 19-year plan. It wasn't just about digging a tunnel. It was a whole philosophy for survival. It took an impossible amount of endurance, careful, secret planning, and this unshakable belief in a future he had no reason to think would ever come. And then, finally, he gets to emerge. So, the big lesson from Andy's incredible journey is this. His physical freedom was the reward for a victory he had already won on the inside. Real freedom isn't something that's just given to you. It's earned through patience, through discipline, and through just refusing to give up, even when everything seems hopeless. But the story doesn't really end with Andy on that beach in Mexico. The true redemption of the title, well, that might actually belong to Red. After decades of cynicism, of being institutionalized, he finally makes a different choice. He chooses hope, he follows Andy's trail and finds his own freedom. It's a beautiful ending because it shows us that hope finds its real power when you pass it on. And that kind of leaves us with a big question for ourselves, doesn't it? The film uses a prison to talk about all this, but let's be honest, we all have walls in our own lives, Social pressures, our own fears, things we believe that hold us back. So the real question the movie asks us is, when you're facing your own walls, what are you doing to stay free?